Just recently, I interviewed Brian Goodall in Tucson, Arizona, and I quickly recognized that not only is he a gifted musician, but he's a really deep thinker. And he offered some really practical kind of stuff. But one of the things that he said really resonated with me because it's something that I've rarely heard anybody else talk about. And that's the corporate aspect of corporate worship, of when we come together, that we act like a congregation, not just a bunch of individuals. So let Brian share with you what he said.
What do we do when we gather on Sunday morning that can't be duplicated or replicated anywhere else? So when we gather, there's something that happens that can't be experienced anywhere else. So are we accentuating those things? Are we focusing on those things? So if how are we engaging in the corporate aspect of worship? Are we cognizant? Do we know the people around us? Are we singing together? Is this a real corporate response to worship? Or is it something where we come in and we feel like, if I can just shut everything out, I can have a worship experience? You know what I mean? Like, if the lights can be turned off, if I can stop focusing on the people around me, maybe I can have an encounter with God. But there's something that happens when we gather that can't be duplicated anywhere else. I mean, you can find great worship music anywhere now. And you can find great teaching anywhere. You could be in your house by yourself and have all these elements of really polished, powerful preaching and worship. So what is it that happens when we gather together that can't happen anywhere else? And how are we focusing on those things? So I think as a worship leader, we have a huge role in that, in saying, like, what does gathering mean? And how do we focus on the gathered aspect of worship?
So I think Brian makes a great point of the whole idea of really recognizing that this is different. This isn't just a me experience. This isn't just me coming to worship God. This is us gathered together as a congregation. And I think this is something that is so often neglected. Let me try to make this a little bit practical for you. One of the things that I do a lot is to change words in songs. You can decide on the legality of that, but to change from I to us, from me to we. The idea that we're coming together, not just about me, so that we recognize that there are other people there with us before the throne worshiping God. Those are just some practical ideas. I want to encourage you, contemplate this. Think about, maybe watch this again. Go back through it and think about what he said, because this corporate aspect is so vital. It's different than just personal. We're gathering together for a reason. This is part of the scripture tells us that we're supposed to come together to worship him. And so I want you to consider that. What should that mean? What should that look like in your context? And are there things that you can do to facilitate that right where you're at?
Brought to you by MyWorshipLeadingCoach.com.
Helping you to be more fully equipped as a worship leader.